So guys, I just got done playing Spider-Man Miles Morales and it is so much fun, but it's not just the new powers or that Miles has a sick bald fade or how the game is just full of
the exaggerated swagger of a black teen.
It's three very different things. It's the art, it's the story, and it's the community. So with that being said, let's just get right into it. The art of Miles Morales is one of the coolest parts of the game. John Paisano returns to compose, mixing rap beats and orchestrated music together to create an urban tone. The main theme is just as iconic as Peter's, but there are other artists here too. Jaden has a few tracks in this game, one of them being originally created for it called I'm Ready, which is the end credits music and it's an uplifting track. He of course also has On My Own with Kid Cudi that really fits the game's overall vibe. Lecrae, who is an artist I had never heard about before, has the hardest song in the game, called This Is My Time, which you might recognize from one of the trailers. It plays during one of the best sequences in the whole game, which I'll touch more upon later. The music creates an atmosphere that really drives home the idea that this is a side story and it doesn't really have a lot to do with Peter and focuses primarily on just the titular character of Miles. On top of the music, the suits are stunning. They all really fit Miles' personality and they all look like something he would wear. They're just so full of
the exaggerated swagger of a black teen.
The music and the suits combined with the snow pouring on the city really create this street aesthetic. It makes Miles feel like he's part of the city, even if in the story he's not. The story of this game is much different from the first Spider-Man. Whereas Peter's journey was about rising above the challenges thrown at him to be greater, Miles' story is an internal struggle. It's about accepting and embracing what makes him unique, to be himself. This is apparent from the first scene in the game, where Miles sees a mural. It's of his mentor, Peter, the person he's striving to be. We learn from the painters of the mural that the new Spider-Man just doesn't do it for them, that the community is indifferent towards Miles and his heroics. It's this community that Miles is a part of in his normal life, but to truly be a part of it, he must be accepted by them in his super life. It's different from Peter's relationship with the community and the city of New York. He's already been established as Spider-Man, New York's one and only Spider-Man. He's been protecting them for nearly a decade, whereas Miles still hasn't grown out of his shadow, and the city will always look at him as second to the OG until he does so. Miles as a character grows through his relationship with the city, and throughout the story the best moments are the ones where the city and Miles directly interact. This is showcased in one of the best levels in the whole game, the bridge sequence. Roxxon is about to start a turf war with the new criminal group called the Underground. When Miles swings in, he tries to defuse the situation, only to find out that the leader of the Underground is his childhood friend Finn. An epic battle with the Underground ensues, where the bridge begins to collapse and Miles saves everyone on it. I'm pretty sure he saved everybody on it at least. It would be awkward if a lot of people died. When the battle's over, he is questioned by Roxxon, who in typical bad guy fashion pull their guns on him. It is here when the city comes into play. The people that Miles saved protest that he saved them, and one of them even pulls out their phone to record. That's kind of lame. But it distracts Roxxon long enough for Miles to discover he can turn invisible and he escapes. It is at this point in the story that Miles is starting to be accepted by the city and the community, but he himself is as lost as ever. Miles' world is flipped upside down after the bridge sequence. He learns that Finn is the Tinkerer, that Roxxon is truly corrupt, and that the bridge is totally and utterly destroyed. He's discovering all these new powers he never knew he had before, and he just feels like his life is spiraling out of control. He feels like he can't do what Peter does, that he will never be able to do what Peter does, and thus he will never be able to be Spider-Man. He tells this to his best friend Genki, who tells him some inspiring words.
Whenever you say Spider-Man, you always mean the other one. You're Spider-Man. You can fix this. Your way.
It is here that Miles brings home the game's theme of be yourself. He creates his own suit and becomes his own Spider-Man. But while he may be himself and finally his own hero, he is not yet part of the community as Spider-Man. Spider-Man Miles Morales is not about all of New York, but about Harlem, Miles' new home. You grow closer to the community through side missions, which in any other game I would call tedious and boring. But in this game, the simplicity is what makes them so enjoyable. It's just Miles and Harlem looking to support each other, You help this construction worker remove ice from his crane. This guy is delivering food to people who are in need, and you can help him by removing his truck from the snow. This woman wants a selfie with you. It's things like these in video games that make the world feel like it's alive, and Miles definitely feels like he is a part of this world. However, the conclusion of this game makes him a part of the community of Harlem. The conclusion of this game is an all-out brawl between Finn and Miles, and it goes to show how far he's come from the beginning of this game.
Don't make me kill you! You can't win! Why do you keep fighting?
Because I'm Spider-Man.
Like, that's just so cool. He no longer cares that he isn't Peter. He's perfectly fine with just being himself. After Miles saves the day, he is celebrated by the community. When he gets to his feet, they watch their hero rise. He truly is their friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He's Harlem's hero. It's pretty much all summed up by this guy, with the game's best quote.
He's our Spider-Man.
Now Miles is not just Spider-Man internally, but externally. He is now a part of the community and the city. The city accepts him as he accepts himself. And to me, that is the theme of this game. It's to be you and to always strive to be the best version of you. Acceptance from others comes later. First, you must accept yourself. Despite how short the story is, this is one of the most fun games I've ever played. Seeing Miles become more and more powerful over the course of the story, and therefore more and more badass, is amazing. I love how he feels so familiar to play, yet so different. I'm going to be starting a new series on this game next week, where I'll play the game on the hardest difficulty with some twists and turns here and there, so stay tuned for that. Insomniac has become one of my favorite developers, and I can't wait to see what the next game in this universe is like. I'm giving Spider-Man Miles Morales an 8 out of 10. It's just so full of
The exaggerated swagger of a black teen.
Thanks for watching, and remember, be yourself.
What happened in Harlem? Together, we're stronger. And that having your own neighborhood Spider-Man is pretty great.
This is where we come from.
Looking good, Haley.
Yeah, we did it. City on my back, I'm committed. This is where we come from.